welcome to Paul's Little Room. This is my review of the Shure SRH1540 reference studio closed back headphones. Now the reason I've got these into review is because they are a legacy headphone, meaning they've been around for many years. I think these came out in roughly the same year my son was born, about 2014 I think, and 500 UK pounds price to buy. The interesting thing is these are still priced at 500 UK pounds. I think they're around about 530 pounds if you buy them online now, direct from Shure. Are these worth it in today's money? Are these worth buying new now? Today I'm going to compare these to the reference headphones I have, not all closed backs, and I'm just going to let you decide whether or not you think these are worth you buying. So first of all, I must say these do come in a very nice box. If you buy this now, it's going to come in a slightly different graphic box. This is the box from about 5 years ago. But anyway, so this is a medium-sized box. It is bigger than the box you get for the Sennheiser HD490 Pro, and you can see it's thicker. Although this box is wider, and it looks very nice. It's got a good amount of information on the box, very nice pictures, has a good solid feel to it. Anyway, so on the box, let's have a look at the specifications of these headphones. They are fully closed at 40mm dynamic neodymium magnet driver, sensitivity at 1 kHz of 99 decibels per milliwatt, an impedance at 1 kHz of 46 ohms. Now this means these are very easy to drive. You can plug them into your phone. Not all phones are going to get the best sound. I would definitely recommend a dongle DAC at least. This is the Kiwi I've just bought this actually, Allegro, and I bought this so that I can actually plug in my 4.4 Pentacon cables and 3.5 into my Nothing Phone 2, the phone I'm doing this video on. So before I go into the performance of these headphones, let's look inside this box. So the first thing you'll notice is there's a wonderful carry case. Under this carry case you get what you think might be a brochure, but it isn't. It's just a single, is it 1 page or 2 pages of info? Let me see, just 2 sides of information, and then the whole of the rest of this is in different languages. So not very interesting. This box, very high quality box. If you are on the move, if you're traveling a lot and you need these as a headphone for listening to music on the go, this is fantastic. If you wanted to put this in your luggage to fly, I'm never going to be worried about my headphones being damaged. This is fantastic. One of the most sturdy carry cases I've seen at any price, let alone a headphone which retails for £500. So let's open this up. Now, so you can see the headphones are very well protected. Now, a really nice thing here is you get 2 cables. I bought these with 3 cables because the person I bought these from had actually bought a replacement cable. These are 2, I think these are both 3 meters. Let's have a look. So isn't this nice? You get these little pouches. So here's one, or maybe they're too short. I've not used these, I've only used the replacement cable. So this one is, let me see, it's a solid feeling cable, a bit sporingy. You can see problems I had with the Focal Clear MG Pro cable was that it was really sporingy like this. This is lighter, but this is actually 2 meters long. Okay, so that's 2 meters long. Let's have a look at all the cables. Okay, second pouch here. These are just velcroed in. Is it identical? So all of them have almost a well, proprietary connection here. This one is let me see. Oh, 2 meters as well. Okay. They all have this 3.5mm with adapter, so you get a screw-on adapter here. Okay. Now the third cable I've got, how long is that? Let's have a look. No, it's identical. so I don't know why they sold me the headphones with 3 cables, but all the cables in the world. All of them are the same quality. They remind me of the Hifiman budget cables. I think the Hifiman cables I prefer. If I have a look at my Sundara closed backs, their cable is it looks similar from afar, but this is softer rubber. Okay, yes, this isn't. I think I prefer the Hifiman cable. So let's have a look at how these connect to the headphones. So they look very smart, the headphones. So you'll see it's marked red for right and black for left. And if you have a look on the headphones themselves, the headphones are angled. So the right hand side, it goes forwards that way, and it's marked embossed right on this side and left on this side. Okay. So when I first plugged this cable in, it was a very tight connection, and I actually had to put quite a lot of force to connect it. So now it just clicks really nicely, very easily. Nice reassuring click. You can do that with your eyes closed, which is nice. It doesn't, even though these have what looks like a square-ish end, there's no problem. You don't need to have these in any orientation specifically. They're just very nice click in. So just bearing in mind, if you buy these new, it might be a bit of a tight connection when you first use these. If I put these on, very comfortable, very light. These weigh approximately the same amount as the rival, the Sennheiser HD660 series. So these are my Sennheiser 660S. These I've just put a aftermarket pad on because it was more comfortable. Also, it brought up the sub bass just a little bit. Now, weight wise, if I compare these two, it's the same. You know, both very, very light headphones. Now, this is a mostly plastic build with real leather, aluminium, and carbon fiber faceplates. Now, if you look at the garb on the website for Shure, I think the carbon fiber faceplate is designed to make this very rigid, and it's meant to control the bass. Also, the way they've mounted the driver, I think there's a metal structure which the driver is mounted onto, so they're going for very rigid structure. Now, the pads these come with, one really excellent feature is you have 2 sets of pads in the box. So you've got the ones on here. Notice they are very soft, lovely soft fenestrated, with a kind of pleather lining. And then in the box, behind this flap, you get another pair. There you go. They are identical. Now, one thing I have done after researching before I bought them, I thought, oh, well, you know, there's no point having two pairs of pads. I'm not using these to professionally write music. I'm using these just for review. So I won't need both pads. So I thought, well, I wonder if I can actually tune these pads, because I do that to quite a few headphones, and I've managed to. So I'll talk about that in a bit. But there you go. If you buy them, they're identical. Very handy, that being in there. Okay, so back to the headphones themselves. The amount of swivel this way is very minimal, okay, but they seem to have a good angle to them. There's quite I would say a large angle of attack. So I think if you stretch these out here, if I make these large, these are going to fit on a very large head. Very smooth. This is just friction sliding adjustment, but it feels very nice, I've got to admit. It feels very nice. They don't flop all over the place. They're not, you know, there's a bit of resistance there. Okay, now this way there isn't any swivel other than the flexibility of the band. Can you see the whole band is flexing? So you will be able to get these angled on your face, but there might be a little bit of pressure around your jaw if you do have a very large head, large face. Okay. Now if I put these on, they have generous pads on top. They're perfectly adequate for the weight of these headphones. You can see there's like a comfort groove. They're too thin pads, but they're soft enough. And because these are so light, the clamp force is medium. It's I would say it's not very high. It's very linear, so you get the same clamp force if you have a small face as if you have a big face, which is interesting that they've managed to do that in the design. But the clamp force is high enough compared to the weight of these headphones that this pad is absolutely adequate. Now, one thing to factor in, obviously these pads are easy to replace. These just have a simple lip, standard flexible lip. You just push them, fit them like most other headphone pads. But the pads here, these do not come off easily. These are actually glued on, and they do not offer, Shure do not offer aftermarket replacements. Good news though, these are ones I replaced. These are the Sennheiser HD25 pads, and they fit perfectly. I compared them to now do I have the originals anywhere? I'm not, somewhere in my room I've got the originals. The only difference, they're the same length, same amount of, the same feel, same amount of plushness. I think the original pads, they feel like they're real sheepskin. These are pleather. And the only thing is these replacement pads are just slightly wider by about 2 millimeters. So you'll see a bit of the plastic through this gap, but that doesn't affect the functionality at all. And to remove the original pads, you think, oh god, I'm going to tear it, but when you tear it off, because it's actually stuck to a thick real leather base, I didn't do any detrimental damage to the headphones. I was able to peel those off and then stick on this aftermarket replacement. So very pleased with that. So if you're thinking, oh dear, I've seen the reviews, I'm not thinking of buying these because I can't replace that pad, they break down, you can. Okay, now back to the pads, the size of the pads. I'd say they're medium large. If we compare them to the Sennheiser HD660S, now these aren't the original pads, but they're the same same amount of room round. These are approximately, they're relatively narrow this way. They're approximately 40 millimeters wide for the ear and 60 millimeters tall, or maybe 55. These these are slightly wider, so these are around about 45 millimeters wide, whilst they're 50 millimeters tall. And so if you have especially big ears, you might need to squeeze them in a little bit. But all of the materials are very, very soft. And in fact, even though these are about the same depth as the original Sennheiser HD600 series pads, about the same, they're about, I would say they're about 22 millimeters deep. They're not the deepest pads. They're so soft that your ear is going to touch the foam inside, but it's very soft foam. So I've had no problem with comfort with these with my sticky out ears. The original pads which come with the Sennheiser HD6 series, the padding is a little bit firm and they're a bit narrow, and I find because the clamp force in these is very high, you do get hot spots on your face here. These do not have that problem. These are plusher to the touch, they're wider, more padding, and these do warm your face up a little bit more, but they're very comfortable. Very comfortable. I mean, you'll literally be able to wear these forever. You're never going to have any discomfort with these headphones. Looking a little bit more at the build, this aluminium here, it's very simple. Now what we're getting these days, in the mid 2020s, a lot of headphone manufacturers have really upped their game with the quality of build that you get for your money. And for £500, I would say these are only just there. Thanks to the value of having a hard case, spare pads, spare cables, then yes, these do get the value for money with these. Do you get the value for the sound? Okay, so on to the sound. Now, Zeos Pantera, if you ever get to see his review of these, he said they were boring. And I thought, well, I've known some music professionals who own these and have used these, and they've done very well with them. But what Zeos said was these have a very smooth sound, a little bit of a dip in the mid-range, but there's nothing very exciting to the sound. They do the job well, they portray the music as it's meant to be portrayed, but they don't add any spice or intrigue or interest or excitement. So on my listening, I've been listening to these for quite a number of weeks now. Initially think, if you've been listening to very, I'd say reference grade headphones, if you have been listening to Sennheiser HD6 series headphones, any of that series, these are going to be more spicy in the treble. So I'd say these are more spicy round about the 8K area or something like that. The S's here, they have just a slight drop off in above like 10K or something, just slight compared to the HD6 series, but still plenty of detail to be had. Sub bass lacking a little bit. You can EQ them well. They scale up well with a good amp, but these it's almost like they've followed a similar profile, but they've put in too much mid bass. Okay, the problem with having that mid bass bump is that the detail, which is there, these have a nice flavor and detail in the I would say everything from 6K to 10K, there's a good amount of flavor there, a good amount of detail. The problem is it's kind of veiled over by that hump. Okay, vocals, there's a dip. The vocals come slightly further back unless the song has a very forward mix. So for instance, if you are listening to singer-songwriter music, well, let's say I love Katie Mellower, so let's say her music, her voice will be deliberately brought forwards. Here's an album I use all the time to listen to compare headphones. Goldfap, Felt Mountain, and the second track on this CD, Paper Bag, the vocals are very far forward, and there's no headphone which isn't going to show that, express that element. But if there's music where the vocals are slightly overshadowed by the instrumentals, if there's a bass guitar, anything like that, which is very strong in the mix, then these might suffer from that. These have a very gentle sound. These have a warmth. I would say slightly woolly sub bass. The sub bass isn't initially impactful, and then as a result of that, these can lack a bit of flavour in tracks which need a bit of oomph added to them in order to perform. So, are these worth the money when compared to the competition? I would say I'm always going to want to prefer these. Soundstage wise, these are closed back headphone. Okay, now I've not tried the new Sennheiser closed back reference headphones, the 620s, I think, but there's some elements where these shine. Okay, if you have music which is, I would say, very strong in the mid treble, think of an example of that. The whole the whole of the Portishead back catalogue, trip hop, very, very harsh sounding production. These will make it more bearable. Okay, you do get elements if you turn the sound up, and you are able to turn the sound up with these more comfortably than a lot of other headphones. You do find you can pick out plenty of details in the mix. These are a headphone where if you're listening to music all day long and you need to search out tracks which I would say have maybe a lack of bass emphasis or a lack of treble emphasis, these will show that out. Unfortunately, I would not recommend these for as the best headphones for singer-songwriter music. Although guitars have a nice warmth to them, very naturalistic tone to wooden instruments, guitars, I would say wood instruments like violins, things like that, and even wind instruments do sound nice with these, but you're going to have to turn that volume up in order to try and search out those details. Because these are closed back, the level of layering is unfortunately a little bit stunted. You've got a good, I would say a classic closed back, a good quality closed back sound stage. You've got a little bit of height, not much. You've got a little bit of width that way. Not bad for closed back at all. These are not bad width at all, but you've got nothing in front and behind. You've got an an oval presentation with that dip as well in the vocals. It's almost like it makes this shape. So let's compare these to some other reference headphones which I've been listening to at the moment. I was very lucky. I was loaned these HD490 Pros by Jason at Custom Can, so thank you very much, Jason. The boxing experience with these is very good if you're environmentally conscious, but they do protect the headphones very, very well, and you do get those spare pads, but these aren't spare pads. These one up the Shures because these are alternative tuning pads. Okay, and this gave me an idea, by the way, because when I got my Shures, I was a bit underwhelmed. I was not surprised. I was expecting them to be a little bit lacking in excitement from the other reviews I've read and from my friends who've owned them. But I thought, well, where have I put the pad? If Sennheiser can add an extra pad which offers an alternative tuning, then why can't Shure? And so I thought I'm going to look into tuning that pad myself. So there you go. So I think these pads, these are almost like they look like denim, but they're softer to touch. Okay, they do have a bit of scratchiness to them. So if you have a beard, they can add a little bit of holding these nice and still on your head. If you have the headphones nice and still on your head, you're not going to have any sound. The clamp force is good, but when you have issues, you can actually hear that scratchiness coming through in the music. These are the kind of suede pads. They feel lovely. They feel really nice. They are slightly plusher than the pads which come with the 600, the HD 6 series headphones. I quite like the way these clip off. See, they clip off like that, similar to those other headphones. So you can replace these, but these are going to be difficult to find an alternative aftermarket pad. Maybe some companies are making them, but these are proprietary. You can just put these on with your eyes closed, and then they'll just click on just like that. Very satisfying. So value wise, I would say that these take the win. You don't get as many cables. You've got now this pair that I'm borrowing just came with one single mini XLR cable. It's a nice, I prefer this cable to the one that the Shures provide. The rubber is similar in softness to the rubber on the Hifiman headphone cables, but then you've got this nice little spring here, and it's nice because a lot of studio headphones come with a very long heavy cable where you have a very long sprung area and it weighs you down. It's just there in case you accidentally tug the headphones, and when you connect these headphones, it's a lovely reassuring click, and it's got a clip as well, so these are not going to pull out. If you do tug them, it's got this, which is very, very good. Whilst on the Shures, you're reliant on, this is firm, but that will come out and you're not going to damage the headphones or the cable. So to be honest, I I like both designs. So you can see the Sennheiser. They feel about the same build quality wise. The Sennheisers have much more. They have all the swivel in the world. Look, it goes all the way from one way to the other, so you can wear them like that very comfortably. The adjustment mechanism feels really nice. I prefer, listen to that, it's lovely. I prefer the adjustment mechanism on these. Metal band, it all feels very, very business-like, but it feels very nice quality. These are a bit floppy, which can be a little bit annoying, but only if you're rushing around the studio and moving around fast. As soon as you put these on, it's very comfortable. They're going to be exactly the right angle that you need them to be. Whilst when I put on the Shures, they're perfect for me, but you might have a few issues with a bit of pressure on your jaw. Okay. Oh, and I've also been testing out, these are my long-term high-end professional headphones, the Focal Clear MG Pro. The cables are a disaster. They're the heaviest, most janky cables I've ever come across, so I'm just using an aftermarket cable with these, unfortunately. Also, these are over £1,000 UK headphone, and I bought these new, and within a week of owning them, I'd scratched the paint on the aluminium grills here, which I was very sad about, but everything else very good quality, exceptional quality and exceptional comfort. Do I recommend any music which these shine with over these or these? These are very good with rock music. These are very good with classical music. The imaging isn't the best. However, if you have the thing with classical music, the thing with chamber choirs, small ensemble instrumental pieces, large orchestral pieces, is there's going to be a bit of separation in the mix anyway. And what you're looking for is you want to hear the elements of the track which are the important emotional aspects to that track. And I would say with orchestral music, the treble is very important, and these don't disappoint per se, but as soon as you get the horns coming in, as soon as you get the kettle drums, that kind of thing, you're not going to hear the treble. The mid bass is really going to overpower these, but the sub bass is kind of very tame. Okay, so rock music with simple vocalist, bassist, lead guitar, drums, these are very good. If you have R&B, good R&B, I thought Outcast were the Love Below sounded very good on these. But as soon as you have R&B music which is not as well recorded, actually a good example of an album which I was disappointed with, not R&B but it's pop music. I've got I know I do listen to Tidal, by the way, but I'm listening to CDs mostly at the moment. Prince, the best of, and unfortunately there are a few very badly recorded tracks. Now I'm sure it's this CD unfortunately has been put together badly. This was 2001. There's certain tracks, classic tracks, which they don't sound good. They sound muffled. But when I play them, so Purple Rain, for instance, on these, there's no detail to Prince's vocals at all. So the subtleties to the tracks are not coming out. The bass sounds mushy. It doesn't have a good kind of crisp thud to it. Whilst obviously this is a substantially more expensive headphone, everything sounds beautifully positioned, and that bass sounds impactful and sharp as you want it to be, with Prince's vocals also present with these. With the Sennheiser HD660S, it's all about the vocals. Prince's vocals, they just sound way better. Now this is a badly recorded recording, but they seem to pick out the sweet spots in the tracks. These are very sweet sounding headphones. Now the the HD, I always forget these, 490 Pro, these seem to have a good compromise. They've got more, they do have a sub bass roll off, but what you have is very good quality across the board. You're able to pick out all of the elements of the track. If it's a good recording, if it's a bad recording, you are going to have some harshness in the mid treble with these, but it's not quite as impactful and I would say sweet, spicy almost as these. However, these really outshine the Shures. So yes, it's showing up the Shures as being a very laid back headphone, a headphone that if your music is exciting and well recorded, these will show it off. Okay, but they're not making anything sound extravagant. You're not going to put these on and go, yeah, I'm going to really treat myself and concentrate on the music and really want to dance. So I thought, oh well, okay, not really for me. I enjoyed listening to them quite a lot, but if I really want to sit down and kind of, you know, I want some decadence here, these aren't the headphone for that. Let's look at those pads, okay? So, I've made a mess. Now, before I talk about the job I've done on the pads for those, I'm just going to show you this Sundara closed. Now, the Sundara, Hifiman Sundara closed, they're known for being a headphone which it's got a lot of split opinions about the quality of the sound. You know, there's some resonances in the bass which kind of there's an unevenness to the bass with these. They offer treble very nicely, but the upper treble is really kind of clipped off. You can get a quite a relatively sharp bit of detail in the, I'd say, you know, 6 to 8K region, but then it's nothing above that with the standard pads. Now I added the custom cans mods to these, which are these very cleverly designed foam inserts with holes in them. And what they did is they evened out the transition of the mid bass into the mids, so the vocals just come across better. Okay. I never thought these were bad headphones. I actually really liked them, but they weren't standout headphones for the original asking price. For the asking price now, you know, £150 or even less, excellent headphones. So what I did, I thought, okay, can I mod these? Can I put different pads? And I discovered that the pads which were designed to go with the Fostex T60RPs by Dakoni. So these pads, here's the box which goes with them. These are the Dakoni Fostex Elite Velour. Anyway, so these headphone pads, they didn't fit on to these. However, I just made a very easy adjustment. I just tore the plastic connector out of some old worn out Sundara pads, and then I just put them inside these pads, glued them into these pads, and then I could clip these on. And then the second change I made with these headphones is I tore out completely all of the tuning material that these headphones had. They've got like a bagel of tuning material in front of the driver. Wow, these sound amazing. I mean, these do sound fantastic. They're a little bit sharp in the I'd say 5K region, but they're impactful. The sound stage has got bigger. Anyway, so I thought, can I get the similar kind of success with these, but with less work to do with the Shures? And sure enough, bad pun. I work in a library. We make a lot of bad pun jokes all the time. What I'd noticed is the pads have they're fenestrated, but they have quite a few, not very many, holes in the pleather area within here. How many have they got? They've got not many. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Just 4 holes. So clearly that was doing something to the sound. I thought, oh, okay. I tried putting my own material in here. I put a little bit of a strip of sticky suede to see what that did to the sound, and that actually, it took the sub bass from being gentle to none at all, non-existent. And it made that sub bass even worse. So I thought, oh, okay, what if I actually clip these? What if I actually make more holes? Okay, so what I've done, I'm going to show you 4 holes, and in here, if you can see, I don't know if this is easy to see, I've made holes all the way around. I have some leather snips, and I snip like they're kind of like slashes, eye-shaped slashes. And how many have I done in here? I tried just a few, and then I tried more, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 holes in each side. It was easy to do. I just took the pads off, and what I did is I bent them out like this, and then I snipped them with the snips. I tried to just visually make sure that they were, I did one side then the other, and then I split it like a cake, so these are evenly going round. Wow. Okay, so you still have that bit of spice. Look at what spice there is in the mid treble. There's no impact added to the upper treble, but you have the impact of the sub bass now. And as a result, what's happening, it brings up the sub bass compared to the mid bass. And as a result, it's a more balanced but more exciting signature. Listen to music which has a heavy bass. There is a slight woolliness to it, unfortunately, but it's more impactful. It's got more excitement, more fun. And now you've got a headphone which is kind of, you know, very workmanlike, businesslike, not very exciting, you know, it does its job well, to a headphone where you've got a replacement pad where you can just go, oh, okay, I want to add a bit more bass to that, a bit more sub bass. Put these on and you've got that. Okay, so if Shure could make maybe their own changes to the pads, then that would be excellent. I'd recommend these, not at £520. I would say if these were £300, they're very, very good value. If they make that change, it will still do better to make these a better proposition for that price, for a studio closed back headphone. So there you go. And I've been very pleasantly surprised how I was able to modify the sound. Okay, so that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do any of you own these headphones? Would you recommend them, or would you say, oh my goodness, are you mad? Why are Shure still selling these headphones? So that's it for today. With these headphones, I'm going to be bringing out relatively soon a review of the 7Hz Eternal IEMs. I very much enjoyed these headphones, and of course I'm going to be talking about the Hifiman Aria Organics, which I'm liking a lot. Okay, so that's it for today. Goodbye.